Hello and welcome to Create the Flow. I'm Monica Freeman, host and founder of Monica Freeman Studios and Unewell. I am here to guide you in aligning with your soul's purpose, trusting your inner voice, and building a life that you truly love. You were born with a purpose, and your intuition already knows the way. Hello, my love. Welcome to the show. I have spent a good portion of the last 2 months trying to find clarity. And clarity is not something that you go searching for, but I feel like I have been forcing myself to make a decision because I think that if I don't make a decision, that I'm setting myself up for failure, that things won't happen on my timeline. And then last night when I was getting ready for bed, I turned on a YouTube video of Carl Jung, and it was all not forcing clarity, but being present in this moment and knowing that it's this quiet space that actually brings about that clarity. And even though I know that, I know when I step away from something or I go and have fun or I really try to step out of the situation, I know the answer always reveals itself. But sometimes I just want to force that outcome to happen a little bit sooner because patience is not my strong suit. Even though I practice patience every day, let's be real. If I could just have all the answers all at once, of course I would prefer that. But listening to that sort of meditation last night got me to think about how much our egos are trying to control our narratives. And even though there's probably some subconscious programming inside of you that makes you feel like you're lacking or you're behind or things are supposed to happen on a different timeline, I'm sure there is a part of your soul that knows and trusts that everything's going to work out, that it's all going to show up when it's meant to. But it's staying in that energy of the soul and not escaping that to listen to the ego. My ego can get me in a lot of trouble if I allow it because it has so many fears. My sweet little soul incarnated into this earth as this human flesh that has so many limiting beliefs that need to be healed. And most of them are surrounding business and career and stability and financial security and my root chakra grounding myself in the safety and alignment and support. So the more I think about what happens when you try to control a narrative, I realize I'm doing the exact opposite of what my soul came here to heal. And chances are you probably are too, because our egos are so loud. They're the thing that is constantly trying to tell us we're supposed to do this. We need to do this. This is a better situation. This would be a better title, a better job, a better this, that, and the other. And I struggle with this because sometimes my ego is just so loud. I can't quiet the noise. But when I do, I recognize that money isn't the obstacle. What I really want is passion and purpose and joy. And I bet you do too. I bet if you really got quiet for a second and you thought about what would make your days better, that's what it would be. It would be health. It would be feeling safe in your body. It would be radiating that peace, but also having joy, like real, true joy. And it would be that feeling that everything is okay. The more we put, I want to call it negative energy because it's low on the emotion scale. But the more we create that low vibrational energy, and that's what we're creating when we're trying to force, when we're trying to control the narrative, when we're trying to make something happen on our timeline, when we're trying to get an outcome the way we want it. That is us telling the universe that we don't have faith. Because if we had faith, we know what's meant to be ours will show up. We know that it'll arrive exactly when it's meant to. We also know that the answers will be revealed at the right time. I love the energy of just picture floating in a pool, like maybe on a little tube or something. And you're just floating. And it's a beautiful day. Your eyes are closed, no one's around. You're just in the pool, feeling that water, calmness that just feels energetically aligned. That's the energy that we have to feel every day. So when you start experiencing fear that you're not going to make enough money, you're not going to get a new client, you're not going to find a new job, you're going to lose your job, whenever you start having these worries, you start operating from your ego. Your ego is telling you these stories that are attached to limiting beliefs that have been suppressed for so long, something that happened years and years and years ago that makes you feel a certain way. For instance, I have a limiting belief that money is hard to make because I grew up with a single mom who worked multiple jobs to support me and my brothers. So I watched how hard she had to work. I listened to the things that she said. I felt that bad things always happen to us. And even though I had a beautiful childhood and everything I could ever want, just witnessing that one small thing really imprinted my nervous system. And now I struggle every day thinking that if I don't work fast enough, if I don't work more efficiently, if I don't work hard enough, if I'm not getting a new client, if I don't make enough money, everything's going to go awry. Like I'm going to lose my home. It goes from like 0 to 100 in a millisecond. I have shadow work that I have to do to heal that belief, that core wound that I've been carrying. And it's not her fault. No one who's imprinted our nervous system did anything wrong. Our souls chose this life. They chose the wounds that it had to come into this life to heal. My mom was 16 when she had me. She did the best she can. She's freaking the best mom on the planet. So it's not a personal attack on her or any other person that may have caused you to feel a certain way. It's about us reparenting that inner child that needs to hear a different narrative, that needs to rewrite the belief that the ego is carrying. So if right now you feel like you can't find clarity, it's because you're either not quieting the ego enough to hear the soul, or it's because you're trying to force, you have expectations, you're trying to push a square peg into a round hole, and the square peg will never fit into the round hole. You're never going to force the answer out of you, because when you force something out of yourself, you're not going to actually have the clarity that you need. You're going to probably get an answer, but it's not going to be from full soul alignment. So it's not going to be the answer that you want. And you're going to find yourself back in this situation. And I am telling this to myself as I say it to you, because this is a chapter of life where I really need to embody patience, and I need to trust the universe and stay in faith that everything is going to work out. And even though there's nothing like really wrong in my life right now, like my life is beautiful, I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to figure out what's my next path forward. Because if I'm slowly going to transition this business into something else, do I want it to go left or right? And I can't make up my mind. And I've been trying so hard. But as a manifesting generator, sometimes it's really hard to just pick one lane. And even though I know we're not supposed to pick one lane, you can't have 10 lanes all operating at the same time. You have to build one lane and get that successfully running before you can build the second lane and the third lane. So trying to see the big picture and do the build out of all 10 lanes simultaneously really is going to set you back. So if you're a Manny-gen listening to this, please hear me when I say that, yes, you should definitely stay in your truth and live in each one of those endeavors. But you have to find an organic speed in which these things come together and how they play out. And sometimes it makes finding clarity really challenging. And I'm there with you right now. So anybody who's listening to this who feels like they're lost, they don't know what the next chapter is, I want to tell you something that my mentor told me the other day, which is, why are you so afraid to release the control and trust that faith has your back? Why are you so afraid to loosen the grip? Only you know, and only I know. And I bet we both think that we're going to miss an opportunity, or things are not going to work out if we don't force it now. But I can guarantee you that's not truth. So try to downregulate your nervous system, really calm the limiting beliefs and start asking yourself questions to understand what's your ego versus what's your soul speaking. And if it's your ego, start asking deeper questions. Where did this originate from? Why do I believe this? Where did this start to feel true in my life? Was it when I was younger and I've been living with it? Was it more recently? Is something going on in my life that I have now attached this identity to? Like, really try to get clear. And that's going to help you find clarity. Funny that we have to clear the limiting beliefs to get clarity. All that being said, I know it's possible for you. And I actually feel so much peace and calmness right now recording this. I feel like the clarity, I don't need to rush it anymore. Like, I truly don't need any answers. I feel at peace. I'm so glad I recorded this. So I hope you feel good and that clarity finds you on your timeline when it's meant to be yours. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like more information, you can follow along on Instagram at Create the Flow Podcast or find me personally at Monica Freeman. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to leave a review and share it with a friend.